All right, this is my initial reflection and plan. And start with my cultural background. It's actually pretty split because my mom is straight from Turkey, born and raised. She came here after college. And my father is probably the whitest dude you know from Michigan, born and raised. Hasn't really left the States that much. But yeah, to start with my mom, though, she actually left Turkey because she did not like how the government is over there. And to leave Turkey, she actually had to get a good education so she could come here and get a good job, sort of come here and live the American dream, I guess some people say it. So from her point of view, she's always embedded in me that get your education so you can do whatever you want with your life. No one's stopping you. And then on my dad's side, it actually doesn't start with my dad. My grandfather he was one of the founders of the education program at Oakland University. So he embedded into my dad how important education is no matter what you're doing in life. And my dad kind of passed that down to me, saying that, like, no matter what job you get, no matter what you do, you need to be properly educated because you can't just be a bum. You need to contribute to society in some way, and education is the first step to that, he always says. And yeah, more than my parents, my neighborhood when I was growing up, it was all Middle Eastern and European people. And my mom being who she is, and my dad being who he is, they're both very extroverted type people. We were always hanging out with all of them. So that kind of gave me a bunch of different cultures kind of mixed into one when I was at home. And then I'd go to school and I'd be with all my friends, and that kind of brought in like the American culture. So it was actually a pretty cool split. And yeah, and everyone in the schools and stuff, my parents worked hard. They worked hard, and we have a middle class life, and everyone is always saying, I want to get the highest paying job, get this so I can have the biggest house. Like, no, I want to be properly educated, and I just want to live a normal life. But I really do believe education is very important in all of that. No matter what you do, as my father's son, I just want to be educated. I don't want to be a bum on the street that knows nothing. Know what I'm saying? All right, then on to Finn Reckhorn, who is my partner for this group. He is from Germany. He's lived here for 10 years, and he lived in Germany for 10 years. He's 20 years old, so he spent half his life there and half his life here. So I think he's actually perfect for me to do this on because he's got some of the American culture. But what he told me when we first spoke, when he moved here, he never really lived in one place because of his dad's job. So he's been moving around the U.S. a lot, hasn't really stayed in one spot. So it's kind of cool that he's just been on the move. So yeah, for our first introduction or interaction, I'm actually going to go up to his place. He lives above me. I'm going to go up there and have some tea with him and just talk about our culture, backgrounds, education, and all that. And for our second interaction, I was actually thinking about going to B-dubs with him and watching a football game or basketball game or something, because from what I've spoken with him, he knows nothing about any of those sports except for football. That's all he knows. So, yeah, that's the game plan.